100 Black Films. Journey to Becoming a Cinephile.
Jazz, cut the shit. You know these people finna scroll after 30 seconds. Get to it.
Now, January, what the fuck was that? They say art imitates life, but sometimes life imitates art. Here's what I learned through January's films. Let's quickly recap. January's question was, who are we? Talking about us. Purpose of January was to set a foundation for the rest of the year. I'm going to give you a little behind the scenes scoop. In my personal life, things are chaotic. So I have started to name this year a series in and of itself. The series is 2026, and each month has a season and a season's title. Last month's season's name was Where Are We Going Again? In January, decided to answer. And when I started this project, I thought I was doing a beautiful passion project that was going to be a beautiful archive for us as a people, which it is. But I have quickly learned that as much of it is an archive for you all, it is also an examination period for my own life. So welcome to this processing. Now, let me clarify something. January is old as fuck. I know we like to say new year, new me, but January is foundational, which also, I don't know why we start the new year in the dead of winter, but that's another conversation for another day. January is foundational, which means that it is also going back to the beginning. What are your beliefs standing on? What are your thoughts standing on? What are your values? What is propelling you forward? Which is why the name of my series month was Where Are We Going Again? Now, knowing this, the film project starts in the foundation, which means that all the films are from a little far back. We talking 60s and 70s. I think there's even one that's from like 59. Okay? Half these motherfuckers was in black and white. As I spoke about in the Killer of Sheep video, if you haven't seen it, go watch it. And I also made a nice little Substack. You can go look at it. We talked about how that film is literally showing the mundane, how it can wear us down, how we can kind of end up getting ingrained into a system that demands our labor and survival before our identity. All of that is valid. But the bigger picture that I started to see along the films was less about who we are, more about who we were not allowed to be, more about what was being asked of us, less about who we were becoming in the first place. 8 films for January, but we're going to talk about the main 5 for right now. So, Killer of Sheep, Cooley High, Nothing But a Man, Sounder, and The Learning Tree, okay? Be clear, this is not a plot analysis of these individual films. This is an overarching theme. If you want some plot analysis breakdowns for the films, let me know in the comments. But let's get to the point. All of these films center racism, sexism, misogyny, patriarchy, respectability politics, and the like. It's just a bunch of isms all written together. If you look anything like me, especially during this day and time, you already have a clue of how those things affect us day to day. That's actually not the point of January, though. I asked January, who are we? But January, being so wise, didn't answer that. January actually gave me the foundation of what was on our canvas before we even got a paintbrush. 5 films, I have witnessed a trend of the characters having to go through this process of the reckoning of their identity, whether it be I'm not going to acknowledge and be conscious of what's going on around me and therefore become a sheep to my circumstances, or I am going to make decisions that have consequences that hurt me but ultimately benefit my family or community in the long run, theoretically. The Learning Tree, Newt is faced with this horrible question of ethics versus survival. He's literally faced at the end of the movie with having to say, I can literally tell you what happened, but to do that may hurt my community. Am I willing to take that risk even at the expense of my own moral consciousness? Sounder, Nathan is fully aware of the end result of him stealing this meat, but at the end of the day, it came down to the survival of his wife and children or his freedom, and he chose his family. Fully High, Preacher and Chice's denial of the realities that they are facing literally take all the accountability and put it on women, and they end up moving scot-free, but not at the cost of someone else. By the way, I got some choice words for you, Mr. Cooley High, and we will be circling back at another date. I watched these films, I expected to see beauty and hear about us overcoming challenges, but what I didn't realize is January was reminding me that before you consciously make choices of how you're going to show up in the world, there are circumstances and conditions that help shape what you even decide or are able to come into in the first place. My own life that had me looking at circumstances as to what affects how I show up even as a creator here. What goes in before I even make the video? What colors my perspective as an artist, as a writer, as a person critiquing these films in the first place? It made me look at this thing that I feel like in multiple ways all of us are circling of emotional honesty. How real are you with yourself about the circumstances and conditions that are affecting the way you show up in the world and in your life? Of course, systemically, there are effects to our day-to-day lives, which were blatantly shown in the film. But in this moment, I'm talking about personally. What are the childhood wounds that you haven't addressed? What are the money traumas that you haven't talked about? What are the relationship icks that you haven't dealt with? The things that you aren't even writing in your journal because you're just hoping they're going to magically go away one day. For January, I, like a bunch of us, sat down, wrote my goals, wrote my intentions, and just thought I was going to go for it. But I realized that myself and a lot of us don't take the time to realize the foundation we were standing on before we even go to those goals in the first place. We don't know who we are. We don't know what foundationally is happening in our lives and affecting the way we approach things. And so, of course, our goals end up getting thwarted or backspaced or sometimes downright collapsing. As we are in the month of love and celebrating our blackness, I feel as though January really gave some insights into our beliefs, our thoughts, our habits, and how they are affecting us, not just from a perspective of what you need to change, but things that you need to be cognizant of and give yourself grace to navigate through. The reality of it is, a lot of us are navigating financial stability. A lot of us are navigating interesting and sometimes chaotic relationships, platonically and romantically, and familial. A lot of us are navigating mental health struggles, traumas, griefs, losses, some wins, survival guilt. And all of that plays a part into how you are moving forward, how you are healing, how you are loving, how you are growing, how you are reaching these goals. And it took all of January for me to realize how those foundational movies were showing me that. How they were showing that before you grab your paintbrush, really look to see what's on the canvas first. Not to try to change it or erase it or act like it's not there, but to be intentional with how you craft the art within it. I will see y'all in the next one. Toodles.